Michelle Markey with Medina Domestic Arts here, and had a bunch of ladies this weekend at a quilt show where I was a vendor asked me several questions about bleeding. And the comment was, we love your fabric medium, but we used it and we had some bleeding. So I wanted to address kind of the proper way to apply fabric medium in just about every single case, because the fabric that I use is cotton sateen, and it does tend to wick moisture very easily. In fact, most natural fibers will wick any kind of moisture, depending on the weave, of course. I mean, if you look at 100% cotton denim, does it wick as easily as this cotton sateen does? No, but it can wick depending on how wet the product is that you're using. So let me just zoom out here. This is a new quilt that I'm working on, a whole cloth quilt, and I'm using a bunch of what I call tinted fabric medium, but it really is concentrate, color concentrate, and fabric medium mixed together, which frankly makes paint. So I'm applying it here in these areas. Now let me zoom in because I want to show you this. And I'm going to do this one, and then I'm going to come over here to this one and show you how I start in a brand new area. Now, when I do this, and again, I'm going to zoom in really tight so that you can see this bleeding. So if I come in here and I touch, do you see how it's, let me see if I can show this a little easier. It's somewhat hard to see. Let me do this one more time. I'm dipping my brush in the fabric medium and I'm coming down, and I apologize, I'm holding the phone. Okay, if you noticed, see that area, how it's wicking out? So that's going to happen, I don't care what you use. Whether it's fabric paint, whether it's a fabric marker, whether it's an acrylic marker, or whether it's fabric medium, you're going to get this kind of bleed. So what I recommend to everyone who works with any kind of fabric medium, whether you're putting it on the Inktense pencil area that you've just colored, or you're using it to blend, what you want to do is you always want to start out, and I'm going to zoom out here now, is you always want to start in the middle, and I'm going to keep coloring this one so that you can see this. See, the bleeding is just, it's almost instantaneous. But I start in the middle and I work out. And you'll see this is continuing to bleed. It's somewhat difficult to see because it's the fibers are so fine. But as it bleeds, I'm going to kind of push the color along, and I'm going to get it right up almost to the edge. And then I'll work it in another direction from wherever I just laid down the fabric. And you can see I can push the color for quite a bit of a distance. And when I say that, we're talking, you know, ½ inch. So when I start seeing this, when there's, you know, no color to push, that means I've pushed the color around as far as I can get it. Now, as I approach an edge, again, I try to keep the color as far away, but slowly work it towards the edge. Now look at this over here. I mean, it's almost there. And so I keep working it until the point where I'm right, excuse me, I'm for my reach, but I want to show that when it gets right to the edge like that, I'm going to recoat the same area and again, lightly push my brush right up against this so that I'm encouraging the fibers to accept it, but not so much that it's going to cause leaking into that green right next to it. Okay, this is a very tough concept for me to kind of get across. So I thought I would do a really up close and personal as to how to prevent bleeding when you're using fabric medium and fabric paint on an area like this. Now I'll just continue doing this a little bit more here as well. So notice again, it's bleeding. I come in and I color the area that's already done, but kind of with my brush, I'm encouraging the paint to get right up to that edge without actually having put the color right on that edge. I know this is, again, a bit of a toughie to try to get direct. A lot of times what I do is I have my students kind of crowd around me and let them watch me do this. But a lot of y'all were asking these questions at the quilt show this weekend, and I wanted to do a quick video on how to actually get paint and fabric medium on here without causing too much bleeding. And believe me, it will happen. I mean, I can show you on this work. I'm doing videos on this as I go along. But let me just scroll up here and see. See all this? That's boo-boo paint to fix the bleeding that I had in that area. So it's something that you have to work with very carefully. Once again, let me dip my brush in. I'm going to put it right along there. Work my brush. Push the paint. You see it's very, I have very little on the brush itself. What's moving over there is what I've already put down on the fabric, and I just keep working it towards the edge. Now, ultimately, you'll have to come in with your brush, but just have the barest minimum on your brush so that that color, and it's actually kind of working itself on its own. I can see this happening. You just let the cotton work for you and let it wick so that you don't necessarily have to color directly with your brush on the edges. So I hope you can grasp that concept. If you have any questions, let me zoom back out again. If you have any questions on this, please do not hesitate to contact me. Again, this is a frequent question that I get a lot, and I did want to make sure that I did a very detailed video on what you can do to prevent bleeding. As always, questions or comments below, and thanks so much for watching.